We can be confident in God's Son, or Jesus being God's Son, because there are many eyewitness records of experiences and interactions with the post-resurrected Jesus. Post-resurrected means after his resurrection. There are a lot of eyewitnesses that had experiences and interactions with Jesus after he rose from the grave. Now let me not digress, but just add a little color here to understand something. When you go to a court of law and you're presenting a case in a court of law, what you cannot bring would be hearsay testimony. Hearsay testimony is never acceptable in the court of law. It's going to get kicked out every time. There'll be an objection to it, and the objection will be sustained. No, you can't have hearsay. That is, I heard somebody say that they saw Jesus. That's not testimony admissible in court. But eyewitness testimony is always admissible in court. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. And so we have to ask ourselves, the question is, are the testimonies we're about to read, are they hearsay? And if they're hearsay, what do we have to do? Boom, kick them out. Can't claim hearsay testimony. But if they're eyewitness testimony, what do we have to do? These are admissible as evidence, right? So let's see what happens here. Is it hearsay or is it eyewitness? Luke 24 describes the very day of Jesus' resurrection. Now that same day, two of them, that's two disciples, were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. They're still talking about the crucifixion and the pain, the agony of all of that, because they were disciples of Jesus. And so they're talking with each other about everything that had happened. Verse 15, as they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came and walked along with them. So here are two guys that are disciples of Jesus talking about what they've experienced over the last couple of days. And now suddenly, it's not two, it's three. And the third one is Jesus himself. Verse 30. Eventually, Jesus has all this conversation with them, and then they eventually sit down to have a meal together. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized who? Him, Jesus. They recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us? They got up and returned at once to Jerusalem. They began to give testimony of their experience with Jesus, the resurrected Christ. Not hearsay. If you've got somebody walking with you, you're an eyewitness. Amen?